Hello, in this video we are going to discuss testing layer 2 through 7 on Spirent Test Center. Spirent Test Center, being an object-oriented based system and a single graphical user interface and API, is the perfect ecosystem for testing layer 2 through 7, because typically in layer 2 through 7 you mix layer 2 through 3 and stateful layer 4 through 7 across some kind of network topology, such as a switch fabric, port, VLAN, MPLS tunnel, or route, and measure the impact on QoS and QoE. All of this can be done with the Spirent Test Center system. So here I currently have a setup where I have a core facing and an edge facing device, and I want to measure the impact of the device under test on QoS and QoE. So I currently have BGP configured on my routing. And I currently, on my technology selector, I have BGP selected. I also want to come down and turn on HTTP, FTP, voice, and video as well. Alright, so now that my BGP is actually set up, I can look and see what routes are actually being advertised at each one of the BGP peers. So here you can see that the route 2001::10 is being advertised on my edge facing interface, and on my core facing interface I have 2002::20:0. So to set up traffic, what I need to use hosts and bound stream blocks in the all devices menu. So what I'm going to do is come over here, and I'm going to add to my edge port a block of hosts. These are going to be IPv6. I can certainly have them inside of a VLAN or a Q&Q VLAN if I choose. I'm going to set up 100 hosts, and I'm going to set my address to 2001::10:2. This is in the subnet that I'm being sourced from. And I can set up the gateway as well. And here I can see my host addresses. And I'm going to call this traffic_client. Now I'm going to create a core facing pool. That's IPv6. And in this case, I'm going to source them from the 2002:2 subnet that I'm advertising. And I'm going to start my host server pool at 2. And again, I'm going to call this traffic_server. Okay, so I'm now done configuring all of my hosts and addressing. So what I want to do is I want to first set up my layer 2 through 3 portion of my traffic. So I'm going to come down here to wizards, and I'm going to come down to traffic, and I'm going to create traffic between the core and the edge. And I want to have a lot of traffic. So what I want to do is I want to create them actually from the traffic block. And I want to make this bidirectional. And now I want to add lots of different diffserv code points. To fill up my QoS buffers. And I want to do this with a 4-point iMix distribution. And if I wanted to, I could then go through, add different flows to this. And we'll make this 95% of line rate. Okay, so what I've done with the layer 2, 3 in the traffic wizard is I've created a bound stream block where I'm going to fill up lots of queues and buffers to get it to a congested state. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to my wizards and go to Application, Layer Wizard. And now I'm going to pick IPv6 encapsulation. And my clients are going to be from the client, and they're going to be sourced on the server. And I want to do all 4 multiplay types. So here what I can do is I can come over to my load profile and I can, for example, add my own load profile, such as adding a burst profile. And I want to make this bursty. And now I can pick that load profile. So what I'm now doing is I'm configuring HTTP, and I can set up the client and the server profiles. So if I set up the server profiles, this is going to say what port I want to have listening, what server type, and what kind of response. So let's do a 512 byte binary return. Or I could have a distribution of return values as well. And likewise on the client, I can pick my browser class. So if I wanted to emulate, for example, Internet Explorer 7, I could. And I could also change my TOS value for my layer 4 through 7 if I chose to. Next for FTP, I pick the same options. For SIP, I can set up my caller phone books and set up my UAs. And then finally, I can also stream video from the Spirent Test Center port. So if I go ahead and finish this, you can take a real video file such as a reference MPEG M2TS file that you see here. And now I can take this, and on my server port, I can come over to video, and I can use the default video profile, and I can manage individual clips. So if I wanted to, I could now upload my reference to my individual slots and chassis, and now use that as a list here. I can pick my destination IP. I could finish setting that all up. So now I have layer 4 through 7 here, and I've got my 2 through 3 here, and now I can come over to my command sequencer and I could establish protocols for BGP. I could start my layer 2 through 3 traffic. I could start my load profile. Okay, and then if I wanted to, I could then enable, disable, insert breakpoints. So this is how to configure layer 2 through 7 traffic across the topology. To finish this off, what we need to now do is we need to properly bind them in the network. So if we look at our devices, I'm going to come over here to the edge device, and this is my traffic port. So I'm now going to add the router interface, and then behind that I'm going to add the client interface. I'm going to do the same over on the core. So here's my routing interface, and I'm going to put my traffic interface sitting behind that routing interface. This adds depth to the network. I'm also going to use a layer 3 forwarding link, but if I happen to put this inside of an MPLS tunnel, I can change this link class to a VRF customer link, or a VRF provider link, or DHCP relay agent link if DHCP is the use. But in this case, layer 3 forwarding is appropriate. Okay, so this is how to set up layer 2 through 7 traffic within the Spirent Test Center system.